Here's the camera.
Need a coat on.
It's freezing. Basically, Tom initiated this entire scheme, the solar. We've taken it over, but he's become a director of the Community Benefit Society, the Power Society. And but he's got so much more deep connections in this world than us. He's been doing Heet for, 20 years? 20 years, so he really knows the council, he knows lots and lots of the GLA and everything. Together we're really pushing this whole thing along.
Hiya.
How's it going?
Yeah, good.
Basically come to take your photo.
Okay.
Decided that you deserve to be immortalised.
Okay.
And turned into a greenback.
Yeah.
So we'd really love to have you as a note.
That's fine.
And we'd basically share the proceeds with Heet from selling those notes between that and the community power station that we're building.
Help more people in fuel poverty.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Many moons ago, before COP26, there was Local Agenda 21, which came out of Rio, and in Waltham Forest, the council were actually quite proactive at that stage and set up these focus groups that ran for probably 2 years or something, and one of them was on energy. I was a student at the time. It sort of became very apparent from talking to people at that group that there were grants for energy efficiency improvements, but people just didn't know about them. Particularly in Waltham Forest, people weren't claiming the grants, and yet fuel poverty was really bad. So Heet really started just as a sort of a student project of mine. I got a couple of people and we just set up stalls outside health centres, shopping centres, libraries, that kind of thing, and just said, look, there are these grants, apply for them, encourage people to apply for them, and gave advice on DIY things that people could do to improve energy efficiency.
So basically Heet erupted from those very sort of...
Those early meetings, and then as a result of the sort of what we called the roadshows, which were just these advice sessions, talking to people, it sort of became apparent that the grants weren't appropriate for everybody. You know, if you've got a leaking roof, you can't fit loft insulation, so we started offering we raised money to offer grants for enabling work, so we could do roof repairs. At the time, you could only get draft proofing or loft insulation or cavity wall insulation. And we sort of said, well, this is crazy. We might as well put it all together as a package. So we got extra funding to enable a package to be put together. So we sort of grew from that advice to then employing installers. And then shortly after that, the police got in touch with us because they realised we were talking to a lot of sort of older, vulnerable people. So they asked us whether we could fit locks and do security work for people. You know, we're working on their doors and windows anyway. So we started doing security work on the back of the energy efficiency work, which worked really well because people know that they feel insecure. They don't know that they're fuel poor. But actually they're often the same groups. So that worked reasonably well.
Can you give us a bit of context about the kind of levels of fuel poverty? Do you know the kind of statistics for this borough?
It's steadily been rising, so it's about 27%, I think, of the population of Waltham Forest is now considered fuel poor.
That's staggering.
Which is the second highest in London, and I think the fifth highest in the country.
Whoa.
So what they take into account there is the energy efficiency of people's homes. So that's the main reason why people are fuel poor in Waltham Forest, is because the vast majority of the housing is old Victorian properties. And then combined with that, the people's income levels. So despite the gentrification of Waltham Forest, that's fairly surface level. You know, we're getting all these smart coffee shops, but actually the majority of the population is still living on relatively low incomes. I did double check the figures because it seemed like we were going in the right direction, and then they changed the definition, and we suddenly ended up a lot worse than the rest of the country.
We're in the process of designing them all, so we're thinking this time to make them different to last time that we'll have like looking up at the sun. That's a sketch idea so far, like quite dramatic looking up sideways, but that's obviously it can all change. We can try that.
Okay.
Against the blue.
A lot of our funding has always been focused on the sort of connection between health and living in a cold, damp home.
Yeah.
So most of our referrals comes for sort of social workers, health visitors, that kind of frontline worker who are going into people's homes anyway and are really good at identifying, you know, this is a cold house, this person's health is at risk because it's a cold house. They make a referral to us. We'll go and do a survey, a whole house survey, We'll look at their fuel bills, make sure that they're on the best tariff, they're getting any discounts that they might be eligible for, and we will fit any small measures like draft proofing, loft insulation, those kind of things. We've got our own installers that do that, but we're not set up to do external wall insulation, for example, so then we have to apply for a voucher on behalf of the customer. That's where we're struggling, I suppose, at the moment, is that the quality of that work isn't really supervised by anybody. So my feeling is that people are getting a really, although there's lots of money flying around, there's certain people getting rich out of that, and fuel poor households aren't necessarily benefiting. Wherever there's government money, there's going to be people sort of trying to get a hold of part of that. And, Heet's no different. We're trying to get a part of it, but hopefully we're coming for the benefit of local people who are fuel poor.
Well, it seems like it to me, definitely. How was that, Phil?
Great, and just to hear more about what Heet do and have done over these years, and how exhausting it must be, because it's dealing with people in so much real need and having to negotiate all of the just like bureaucracy and red tape of governments and local government. So yeah, amazing, and just really want to be able to come in and assist in carrying on that good work.
I'm sure that the real story is like out there across Walthamstow, all the people he's helped. Because basically they've helped up to about 10,000 people. It'd be great to get him on the banknote, wouldn't it?
Yeah, he'd look cool.
Absolutely freezing. That's it for now. But that was good.
That was the critical bit about
What's the critical bit?
what we already talked about with him, but the challenge of this is a power station and it all sounds really good and solar punk, and then all.
Hey, should we go for a little celebratory beer? Oh no, it's 20 past 3. 21 past 3.
What?
It's 22 past 3 now.
Oh my god!
It's the end of school.
Shitting! I'm going!
Okay, you're going to go and collect George?
Yeah, I cannot believe that.
Whoops.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. How are you meant to be like punk when you just like...
Hill, we're literally about as punk as a cup of tea.
Oh my god! I'm not saying we're punks. There's a different vision of, but to be contagiously, rather than like, anyway, I don't even know what I'm talking about.
You can be punk and still be an adult, can't you? And still be a parent. That's the wrong direction for that. Oh yeah. Okay. Bye, Hillary. Hi, thanks so much for watching and supporting the channel. If you have enjoyed this film, please do think about subscribing. You'll get notified when we upload new stuff, and we have lots of really interesting interviews coming up, as well as episodes as we build our power station in East London, and I guess what could possibly go wrong with a couple of artists building a power station on the roofs of their street. Plenty is the answer, so there should be lots of interesting things to watch. And I just wanted to give a shout out to some of the new members who have just joined this week. We've got Helen Ball, Alexandra Bell, Rachel Bird, sorry that I'm looking off screen, Ruben Binns, thank you so much for joining, Deborah Curtis, and we have got, let's see, keep going, David Harrod, who's joined recently, Jim Holt, Julie Hutchison, Mary Ipadiola, I hope that's the right pronunciation. Mary, thank you for joining. And we have got Sally Lemsford, Steve Linford, Gary Merry, who's an actor who's helping us doing some dramatising of interesting writers. We've got Nick Pearce, and keep going, Julie Sumner, Susan Sullivan, Gavin Turk, AJ Wilson, and I think that's it. So thank you to all our new members. Thank you to all our existing members as well. It's so great to know that that you guys have got our backs and you're helping us to do the research on this project, and also to employ our team of crack filmmakers and editors and designers and all the rest of it, all the kind of behind the scenes people who are so important to making this happen. Thank you very, very much. Now, if you have enjoyed it, please do click to subscribe, It really helps us, and you'll hopefully get really interesting content and episodes up to date. And the other thing I was going to say is, if you are in a position to become a member yourselves, we do a book club once a month. We also have a power hour where we bring in activists and social entrepreneurs and artists who are all part of the same movement that we are a part of, which is really about sort of community responses to the climate crisis and to the energy crisis as well, which we think is really, really important. And we believe that if things are going to change, it's going to be changing from the grassroots. We're not going to have a system change from above, as Laura Hanna said in Bank Job, which I wholeheartedly agree with. So here we are working hard to bring change, and to do that we really do need help, and we want to be part of a movement for it. So if you do want to join us, the web address is membership.power.film/enroll, ENROL. Okay, that's it. Wishing you all the best, and seasonal greetings, and we will see you very, very soon. Cheers, bye.